Okay. There we go. We're live. It was about to be really problematic, and I was like, what's going on right now? Super mad. Super mad. Having some issues. All right. It's 8 o'clock. It's time for the Corvus Cast. My name's Tim. Welcome. I got the black gloves on. You know what that means tonight. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. A lot of things that are going to be coming your way real quick. Maybe not real quick. It's going to be like 2 hours. We got like a big session tonight. 2 hours worth of casting, and we're gonna see what happens. Lots and lots of good stuff going on. Let me just make sure I have my Corvus Cast stream page up in front of me, so that I can see what's going on with everybody in the roost here, and we'll go ahead and get started. Again, if you're just joining us tonight, this is the Corvus Cast. My name is Tim. This is where the host isn't particularly attractive, the jokes aren't funny, and we just talk about made-up stuff anyways. Let me see if I can get my stinking... Okay, it's not wanting to work, so we'll just make that happen. All right, I don't see anybody has joined me yet, but that's okay. We're just going to keep pressing on and talk about the stuff that has occurred this last week. So, number one, I want to make sure that I talk about... what transpired this week, which was Christmas. So I hope that every single one of you had a great Christmas. Any of the parts that you purchased from me, for any of the designs that you wanted to build, I hope that you got them in time for your holidays period, and ended up building something really cool. If you haven't, keep waiting. The parts are on the way. I had a lot of issues this week with a lot of different shipping. So like DHL gave me problems, UPS, like USPS gave me problems, UPS gave me problems. It's really frustrating, to say the least, that all this stuff happened. But just a little bit of temperance in the face of adversity, and we'll be okay, I think. So, you know, it comes and goes. The holiday season, especially like in Chicago, like for the mail, was absolutely terrible. Really frustrated with what happened there. Some of my best customers had packages lost in like the black hole that is Chicago, and so I don't know what went down there. But all good things. So kind of pressing into what the the meat of this podcast, today's podcast, is supposed to be about. Hang on, I got somebody banging on something up above me, and I gotta rectify that because they know I'm down here, and so they want to make noise. So let me send a message to my spousal unit and tell her to fix that. Oh man, dogs. It's probably the dogs. Something banging on the floor. Anyways, hopefully you guys didn't hear that. I got that rectified. Sorry for the diversion there. Coming back to the topic at hand. So this week was not just a very Merry Christmas, hopefully for all of you. It was a very Merry Christmas for me. My manufacturer managed to get me parts the day after Christmas. Lots of really big things. So I'm really excited to get over here on the right side to take a look at them. Because I want to show you, I'm like, one of the most complex pieces that I've ever built is sitting right over here ready to be displayed and show you guys what's happened. So I have 7 parts. I held up 10, but I mean 7. I've got 7 parts on display for you guys this week, and we're going to talk about all of them. In fact, I have 7 of them, and 4 of those parts have arrived. They're here out of production, fresh and ready for us to look at. So this is going to be a first glimpse for you guys to see them. And a first chance for me to build something with them. I've only mentally put them together where I think that I would put them. Yeah, it's one of those, this could be huge, these things that we're bringing. And I really want you guys to take a look at them and tell me what you think about them. So before I go over there and talk about it, before we have that discussion, I got 4 parts that just came out of production. It's all the adapters. You guys know them as the mini chokes. So there's 3 mini chokes. There's a straight, an angled, and a curved or a rounded mini choke. And then there's also what I call the cam extension or the cam adapter, which basically would turn one of the female body segments into what amounts to the bottom of the cam, like Ki-Adi-Mundi lightsaber. So that is coming, and then in in sample here today is also the MPP, which is a 3-part component, which I said I got 4 parts to debut to you. That's all 7, excuse me, I have 7 parts. That's all 7 of the parts to debut to you today. And then we'll have discussions. And then in the immediately after that discussion, we're going to move into building parts. And so I'm going to move over to the side here, and we'll start working on that. I also had a couple of cool new things develop. I have a new mic boom, which sits directly in front of me, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. And it's also really cool because it doesn't make any noise like the other one did, and it also slides perfectly like over here to my side, so I can pull it directly in front of me while I'm working and talking, and I can blow you guys' ears out with parts that I drop on the table. So really excited about that. Yeah, I'm glad that the sound is good today too. I also added some production value. So I want to give a shout out to the murder. So give you guys a little Flappy Bird sounds. I appreciate every one of you coming and attending and hanging out. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. I've never used a soundboard and I can't hear it. I don't have my production stuff in, so I can't hear it. But hopefully every one of you heard that. The birds cawing, that's you guys out here from the murder. So welcoming, the accomplices and the accessories to murder. And then everybody from the murder also who's contributed in different ways, shapes, or forms to all of this stuff. So I'm really excited about it. I hope that the soundboard's working and you guys get it. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you caught it. We're going to transition over to the side here, and we're going to have this discussion. I got to move a couple of things really quick because my screen is off to the edge of my space here. So let me put this over here, and I will catch the Discord out of its space and bring it over to the other side. Actually, yeah, we'll bring it over to the other side because I got to have my monitor shuffled over just a little bit. So hang tight just 1 second. That way I can read and see what you guys got. Okay, here we go. We're going to shift. And the microphone comes over here just like that. Look how cool that is. I'm really pleased about that. That was cool. Okay, so we will get ourselves set here on the scene. On the lower side here, you're going to see basically the bottom right of your screen. You should see a PowerPoint presentation that I'm running so that we can look at all the recommendations that you guys have made for the stuff. But first, before we get into that thing, we're going to go ahead and hit up. Yeah, let me see if I can get that closer. Before I move into any of that, I'm kind of facing off to the side too. Before I get into any of the other stuff, I want to show the MPP. That's weird. Why did the sound drop off? Maybe it pushed it to the backside. I don't know. That's weird. I didn't change anything or adjust any settings. Is that better? You guys can hear me there. That's weird. I'm not sure why the sound volume dropped off from the backside. I see. It's probably the mic setting is not correct. I bet you it's because of that. If I set it to that, you guys can hear me. That's better. That's the one. That's what we need. Okay, cool. There we are. Right on. All right, so what you guys see directly in front of you is the MPP shroud. And this one is I'm really, really excited about. This piece is 3. I got 5 people today. I got quite the crowd. It doesn't get much bigger than this, so consider yourselves fortunate and lucky to be part of such a small group of team members and valued customers for the store. All right. So what we have in front of us is the MPP, or what my approximation of the MPP is for VHC. It's not something that I have seen anywhere else. I haven't seen anybody make something like this. And so it's composed of 3 components. The top part of it here is what is basically a standard, or what you guys have seen as a standard emitter tip. It's just a little bit taller than the ones that we've had before. And so you can see where, in comparison here, where the screw holes align, or where the screw holes sit at. Oh man, I got some really bad, let me see here. Let me do that. I think I got it focused in on the table. Okay, so you can kind of see where the screw holes align. They're just a little bit lower on this piece. And the reason why that is because it has to fit the shroud hole here on the back, right? So a lot of you guys have already seen some of this in the cast, or not in the cast, in the Discord already. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it focused up a little bit better. I'm gonna be watching it on the clock. I like it. That's the dedication that I like to see. Just give me 1 second here. I'm trying to get my camera focused up just a little bit better. I had done some tweaks on this before the show, and right as I was getting into the zone, I got called upstairs to make food. So excuse me and sorry about that. So if I hold this up higher, I don't know if that's going to focus. It looks like it's focusing in okay. All right, so this is a 3-part component, and I'll probably end up selling this as a kit, but the important piece to look at here is that it's an accent ring, number 1. So it's a lower band accent ring on the MPP shroud, and then an upper angled shroud element with a slide bracket, just like all of my standard adapter pieces. Standard elements that I use. 1 second, I gotta pull my screen over here in front of me, and hopefully that doesn't show all the crazy stuff that I have going on in the background, so that I can see my screen, what I'm broadcasting to you guys. Okay, so this is the lower band, and this is the upper shroud, is what I'm calling it. So lower shroud, upper shroud, and these two, you probably can't see it. You might be able to see it. The shape right here along this backside, it has a key attached to it, and that key allows you to connect these two pieces together. They don't move very much. They're very rigid. And so in effect what you get is a slidable top shroud attached to the lower keyed shroud, which has the which basically has the shimsert inside of it. And the way that this connects to your piece is you take your emitter tip and you slide it down inside of here, and you can see where that hole lines up. So you end up getting this really nicely connected emitter element here. Whoops. And once you get this seated, it's really, really easy to work with because all you have to do, so once that comes out of there, now you have your emitter tip that is connected to your shroud piece, and it's 100% flush. You can see how it's pretty flush to that right there. And then that just keys directly up. So whatever piece that you decide you want to put on it, I'm just going to grab this Admiral. This is a Vire Admiral, and I'm going to stuff this on here. Whoops. I let the key get away from me there. You kind of have to hold the key in place to get it to settle, and then once it's connected, now you have your full piece, which is fully connected inside of your Saber, or on the end of your Saber element there. Dang it, man. I am really frustrated with this because I cannot see my chats very well. And it's really frustrating because I have the chats available here. There we go. Let's do that. I'll just cover that up. Here we go. Yeah, combine and form the Demi Vader. Yep. I am working on trying to get this to fit correctly in my screen. I'm sorry. I've got a lot of screens open and active right now that's moving around, and I'm trying to see you guys' chat in the YouTube. So nobody's going to be able to see the YouTube chat, which kind of sucks because I really wish that people could see the YouTube chat from this and like the transcript that everybody gets to see. And so maybe one day in the future we're going to transition this over to something else, right? We'll move like the actual chat into the stream channel on the Discord, so we can work through some of that. But yeah, so to answer those questions you might have, yes, it does lock in place, basically making all of this one connected element. Now the only downside here is that it is a little bit fiddly if you need to access the shrouding. And so let me grab something really quick here. I've got something just behind me. I wanted to put a tube on it here really quick. So there's no tube. Whoops. Excuse me. There is a tube, but there's no retention screw on this, right? But I wanted to show you how easy it is to get access to it. Because this locks in place, the top shroud itself locks in place on that screw. You could just remove the top shroud, slide it up the blade a little bit. Once you're done tightening your screw down, you can then push this back down onto the bottom shroud and then reconnect that. It's not a ton of work. It's not, I don't think, much more than what you would see in other elements. I just got that misaligned a little bit, but It's not too shabby and not overly difficult to achieve what you want to achieve. And so it gives it a nice clean look on the front side, which is what I was really going for. I wanted it to be clean compared to like what you would normally see on another Vader. Yeah, the other option would be to drill a hole in the front of this, just like a 3mm hole, to be able to fit you know, a 2.5mm Allen key to be able to make the adjustment on that front screw. It's not that big a deal. I really prefer it this way. I think that it looks more elegant this way, and also it's a little bit cleaner. But some people might not like that, might not like having to take that adjustment screw off of it to move it down. And so you can see that that's adjusted pretty deeply down. So it's kind of a cool piece that has a lot of interplay with other parts. So I could take this guy off of here, and you could leave it with just you could leave this with just the shroud. You could leave it with just the lower shroud on here as an accent ring, and make that its own like feature and element on a Saber, however you wanted to do that. You can also connect this with like the lower shroud with some other pieces, right? So if I had this shroud, I'll grab this because I had a pretty good look with that before. And I want, man, let me see what I gotta grab here. I gotta get a couple of elements together to make a piece here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is the Type 1 emitter tip. Can you do anything with that slot on the ring? What do you? I'm trying to figure out what your. Let's see here. So Amber's. I've done a couple of these shrouds before on other Sabers, and I've doubled one of my screws as that retention and the shroud retention. And if you don't get it just right, so you kind of have to have access to some tools to clean it up, or find the correct one and get it ordered. It can be problematic trying to do both of those with the one, especially if you have to over torque it. Like a lot of times people will try to over torque the screw to get the shroud to seat correctly, and will end up pushing like really hard against the blade or something along those lines. I'm just trying to prevent any sort of damage or issues. And I don't know, John, you have to add some more clarity to your question there. Can you do anything with that slot on the ring? If you're asking about this slot on this ring, it's 36. The slot on the end. Oh yeah, this slot here. Yeah, this is actually a functioning. This is actually a functioning piece. You can use that to secure this to another part. So, like for example, if I had a threaded bit underneath of it. Oh dang, we got 9. Oh, we got 9. Hey, welcome. Thank you. This is the most people I've had on the show in like ever. This is actually really awesome. Super excited about this. But yeah, John, to answer your question, yes, if I had a component underneath of this that was threaded, right, M4 threaded, it would be able to work with that, and I can show you that right here. It screws, it fits, it screws, it does all the things that it's supposed to do, just like that, and it would hold it in place. So that's the important bit of this. This is a functional slot. It does all the things that you think a slot's supposed to do. So like for example, if you had a component that you didn't want this to slide around on, right? We'll go back to this guy here, and you didn't want it to be able to pivot, or you were concerned about it like pivoting when you're gripping it. You could drill a hole and put a screw right in there. Whoops, sorry, I got a little bit of glare. You could drill a hole and put a screw right there, and then make yourself a nice attachment point. Or you could add an embellishment that fills this gap and flows further down as the normal MPP would be, right? And so you could get a really decent look out of this, just one piece. If you had other designs that you wanted to put on this, you know, I could even throw a G-Wiz idea on here just to play around with something that might work, maybe, just as a goof here. The MPP has taken up a lot of this time because it's a really important part and a really cool one that I wanted to make sure that you guys had a chance to see. Oh, that's cool. A happy accident there. Right to the edge of that. Right to the edge of that piece. The MPP lower shroud is pretty versatile, right? You can kind of catch this alignment a little bit here, get it pretty close to where you want it to, and now you have your lower shroud with a top piece here, and you could put another component or another shroud on here if you wanted to. This is the wren. You can slap a wren on here and give it a little bit different look. Of course, it needs to be a little bit taller for the wren to be like super effective. Like, I think I like the wren a little bit farther down this way, so you might have to drop it like a full like Type 2 body, but you can achieve a pretty decent look with that. You can also do something with like this is actually perfectly aligned to fit on the smaller shield, the Klein shield, K shield. So that could work, or you could nub this off if you wanted to. You could take this off at this corner, nub it down to flat, and set it against there and have a nice looking combination as well. So lots of options, lots of opportunities to do something cool with it. Super duper proud of this part. I think that is really freaking cool. And yeah, if you wanted to, you could put that together. Oh my God, I can't believe I just did this. So I want to make sure you guys see this. That screw hole lined up perfectly with that, so that you could put the Menace, or like the Type 2 pommel, or Type 2 emitter shroud. I can't even talk. The Type 2 emitter tip inside of the stinking thing. Okay, this wasn't really planned for, but the measurements that I've put together have worked out really, really well in my favor. I'm pretty jacked about that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, there's a cool option there, and I think that I could even pop this off of here and put on. This might be a little bit too long. You could potentially put on. Man, I lost it. I don't know where I put it. The Type 1 and do something similar with that as well. Ooh, that's cool. That fit up too. Yep, the Type 1 will fit just right too. Oh oh shit. Oh man, that's good. All right, so sometimes when I do this, I surprise myself. So that was really cool and a nice happy accident. I want to make sure that I get through the rest of this though. Okay, so that's an exploration of the MPP, kind of as it is. I'm really happy with it. I'm going to make a couple of minor changes to it, and those adjustments are probably going to be here in the shroud piece. And I'm actually thinking about extending this probably another like 2 to 3 or maybe 4 millimeters off of this, just a little bit, so that it goes a little higher up the shroud, and that gives it a lot more variability for sliding back and forth on stuff, right? Gosh, I'm so proud of this. You guys have no idea how proud I am of it. Everything fits, everything works, and to my knowledge, this is the first attempt at making something like this for VHC, and it's the first universal VHC Vader that would be out on the market within the next like 4 weeks or so. So again, really, really proud. I think the only other changes again I'm going to make are I'm going to adjust these. I'm going to adjust this lip. I put a round on it, and I like the round, but every model I've seen has it pretty flat. I'm just going to put like some edge bevelings on this. They call it chamfering. I'm going to chamfer those edges and knock them down so they're not sharp on people's handling. And then I might expand this outer diameter just a little bit, and the outer diameter of the ring just a little bit to accommodate a larger size that is in line with these other rings here. They should be at like 36.5 or 36.15 millimeter outer diameters to fit those up. So that's your introduction to the MPP. I hope that you guys really like all the parts that are going to be coming, and I'm going to get ready to show you here in the next couple of minutes. I'm really happy that Hawksight is interested in the parts. He's so excited he hit the delete button on his nice comment. Oh shoot. But yeah, that's the MPP. I'm really proud of it. I think that it's awesome, and I think that you guys are gonna like it too. Even if you don't care for the lack of the screw hole on the front, it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna set this aside. I gotta stop playing with it because I love it so much. Future designs for this, I have a future design for I have a future design for this that that gives an S shroud, an S curve shroud for this top, as well as the ROTJ Vader bottom. So you'll be able to mix and match the different Vader tops and bottoms. And that S shroud curve is reminiscent of both the ROTJ as well as the Barbican model that they call it. So we're kind of covering like a bunch of like obscure references too. So I'm super jacked about getting this into production, and then get the other one into production as well. So we'll start to see a lot more of this shrouding come to life. So the other thing that I have on my table here, and you can kind of see them sitting off just up here on the front edge, or the front edge of your screen there, is the adapter set. And if I didn't tell you about it before, it was because I was super nervous about telling anybody about it. So only really like the inner circle of people on the Discord knew about this. But I kind of took a gamble with these parts. So in a lot of cases, I like to work with my company where they provide me a sample of parts so that I can test them and fit them and play around with them to get an idea on what they are. And in this scenario, I didn't get samples for half of these parts. In fact, the saga this started with, and a lot of you, if you've been in the Discord, you'd know, but Guy Garage Machine, GGM is what I called him. And so it started with a dude in my local area that I was working with, trying to get samples produced, actually trying to just work locally with somebody that could produce something. It ended up, his cost was going to be like 3 times what my manufacturer was already quoting me, and he couldn't beat what my manufacturer was getting. And so what I really wanted to do is test a theory on whether or not I could produce a small batch of parts in a very quick time with no samples to make sure that they could do the things that I want them to do. Excuse me. And so I talked to my manufacturer, and they said, yeah, we can do that. Let's do a small batch. So I decided to do a run of 50. And so essentially, if you haven't been following along with Corvus Saber Foundry, usually every month I produce 2 parts. I produce a part a month, a minimum a part a month, but I usually produce 2. And I usually produce about 200 total items for those parts. And so the story time is going to wrap up here in just a second. I told my customer, my manufacturer, I said, I still want to produce the same number of parts, but I want to produce more variety of parts. And they said, yeah, let's do it, but you're not going to get the cool savings that you would normally get for samples. And I was like, that's okay. I don't need samples. I trust you. And that was kind of a gamble on my part to see this happen. But it really came out super, super well. And so I'm going to introduce to you 4 parts. There's 8 here because I wanted to introduce them as pairs, and I wanted to have them available for the build segment later. But I'm introducing to you 4 parts of these Saber, or 4 new adapters for Corvus Saber Foundry. So this is the first one. This is the Type 4. The Type 3 adapter. So a male Type 3 adapter, and the light is kind of goofy on it here. I'll see if I can get it up higher. This is essentially just a 10 millimeter long straight necked adapter, and it doesn't look like much when you just look at it like this, but this can serve quite a few roles. It can be almost like a wasp waist for like an SK. We were just talking about that earlier today in the chat, or in the Discord chat. It could be something come in concert with a pseudo thin neck or something along those lines, and it's really cool because it maintains the same inner diameter of the parts normally, so it's a 25.6 inner diameter, but it has a neck down area on the outside of it at 27 and I think it's 27 or 27 and a half or so. It looks really, really clean. I've had it installed on a couple of items. I've got some sample pictures up on the website. I think it looks really cool. So that's the Type 3, and so I'm going to call it a brother to the Type 3, is the Type 4. And this is an angled emitter, or excuse me, an angled adapter. And a lot of you guys have seen this. I've had it in samples before. What's really crappy is the light is being a pain. It's making it really difficult to see the detail on this thing, right? But it's about the same length. It's about 10 millimeters, and the angle just necks that down in the in-between there. And turns it into a nice choke section, and it's a little bit smaller than, like, we'll say the VHC choke, and quite a bit smaller than my my Type 2, or excuse me, my Type 1 choke that I've released. So yeah, this is the Type 4 the 4.0 or the 4, and the next one here is a curved Johnny. For all you people from Philadelphia, I don't think I got very many of those. This is a curved bottom choke, and basically it's the same style and adapter as this guy here. So basically I took the framework of that adapter and used it on this adapter. It's actually just a little bit short, I think. Actually, nope, it's about the same. Used the same framework and made a round bottom choke, and again, it's smaller than it's smaller. Yeah, Ron got what I was saying. He knows what I'm talking about. It's a little bit smaller than the normal VHC choke, and it's quite a bit smaller than my Type 2 choke, but it fills a nice niche in between the two to give you a cool look in between your female body parts. And again, if you're new to if you're new to Corvus Saber Foundry's alloy system, alloy was created to really like emphasize the drama in between the parts. We know that like a lot of the bodies on the Sabers that are in universe, they have a large sections of them that are not machined, right? They have, large plain sections of them, but a lot of the pieces that go in between is where you see the drama and the interest and the changes in elevation of those parts to make them into something what you think we see. And so a lot of the parts that I create and I work with are designed to emphasize this, not emphasize, but like accentuate the spaces in between the Saber parts, because I think that's where the most visual interest happens. And so it's kind of playing on that. And this last piece, this is known as the Ki-Adi-Mundi or the cam. And so I have one here in my hands. This is a VHC Ki-Adi-Mundi, and you can kind of see that shape right here. On that edge. Mine is just a little bit larger because it takes into account the system, and it's taking into account that 2¼ millimeter on this tip, or on the fronts, on the top and bottom of it. So it has a 2¼ land on it, which accounts for the accent rings that you can use from alloy, and gives it a 5 millimeter like raised step area. It looks really, really good in between two parts, and I'll go ahead and start throwing these in here right now and let you see what I'm talking about. So here's the cam, or Ki-Adi-Mundi on it. It's actually the Type 6. I'm sorry, the Type 5. Man, the light is really killing this thing, making it really difficult. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to set up my light stand wherever I put them. Try and give myself some more light here to try and balance the washout that's happening from this one. And just make it a little less intense from the top end here. See if that helps a little bit. It's kind of washing it out too, huh? And pull that down. Oh, that's why, maybe? Because the light was up so high, huh? I don't know if that makes it better or worse. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Did that help or hinder that process? I don't know if it's any better. Let me see if I can get another one going. I'll put my last light up. I got one more going here. Make sure I get my light value set correctly. 21%. That's about what I want it to be. Alright, I should have done this previously, but the light plays really funny. With the camera over here on the screen. So maybe that does a little bit better. Hey, that's kind of balancing it out, I guess. I don't know. I can't tell. No, it's still playing around with it. It's tough. It's a tough one. All right. Well, anyways, where was I? I was talking about these things, the parts in between. There we go. There's the Ki-Adi-Mundi, or the cam. Okay, I'll hold it up then. Here's the Ki-Adi-Mundi. The Type 5 actually is what its official name is called on the website. I'm getting a lot of weird lights hitting this. I think it's because my big lights are on over here, and it's messing around like my what the heck is it called? My key light and my side lights are on still. But anyways, this is the cam. This is how it fits in between these parts. Just wanted to show you what that looks like. It's got a really nice look to it. Very understated, very simple, very easy. Let's see people are starting to drop off, so hopefully, sorry about your ears there. Hopefully we get interest back in here. I'll go ahead and put these on individual parts and show you what they look like here in the stream real quick. And then when we start building stuff, we'll go with it, right? There's the Type 4.1. Not too bad. Has a nice feel to it. I really like that one. Oh my gosh, I can't keep my hands on these stinking parts. The little bit of manual dexterity that I lose with these gloves is killing me right now. Okay. The 4.1 with some knurled stuff, we can do that. For my dinger and my thumb. That's right. Got it. There's the 4, the Type 4. I really like this one. This is one of my favorites, and I think that it's going to be a really nice one when we start building stuff in the future. I'm really super excited about this one. And I really have to do something different with this guy here because I think that this one looks best as a emitter piece. So I'm going to pull these out of the way here really quick so I don't just keep dropping stuff on them. These are ones that I'm trying to keep nice because while they are DNI, they still could sell. All right, so this one is kind of an emitter piece that I wanted to demo, and I like it because it kind of fits on an emitter really, really well. I think that it looks best as an emitter piece. Yeah, it's really nice. And even if I flip it over, you can kind of put it here and run it up against the top portion of that emitter. So now you got some neat interplay with all these different parts to it. It's really, really cool. This is like my vision coming to life, literally, as we're talking about this stuff. Like all the things that I've wanted to do with this. And I had mentioned this part in particular would be really nice as like a transition point for like an SK. And so let's go ahead and put that on and show it as like a wasp waist almost, because you can see it's skinnier than this piece here. I think I might have another body around here somewhere. There we go. So there's your wasp waist. And if you wanted to, I know that we're starting to diverge into something else here really quick, right? If you want to start making it into something that looked like an SK, now you're starting to look like you have an SK on your hands. It's not perfect, but once I get some longer versions of these, ones that will run up to here, you know, a little bit like double the length up to this way, you can start getting into that space where you're building something that looks pretty purposefully built like an SK. You're almost there, man. You're almost freaking there. So, again, really, really excited about this particular piece. I like this one a lot. The other ones are cool, but this one is one of my favorites already. Just in the short time that I've been playing with it. So give me a minute here. I'm going to clear some of this space really fast, and we're going to start talking about the next step of this. We've been on the horn now about 35, 40 minutes after we got through the technical difficulties, and we'll reposition this stuff out of the way, and we'll start looking at what builds you guys want to build, because today is supposed to be the build extravaganza. The first annual Corvus build extravaganza. And so what better way to ring in the new year or close out the last part of the year than to have something really big and really fun when we pull out all the parts. I've got like 200 parts in front of me right now, and my head is spinning thinking about all the different combinations that we could achieve. And so I'm going to go ahead and just expand this a tiny little bit so that I can see it, and then I'm going to bring it up in my screen so that I can also see it, and we go on to talk about it. I'll pull it over here so I can get a good view of it. You guys can still see it. All right, so the first part that we're looking at here is is basically the top saber there, and I don't have any fins or the end fins to put on it, and so this is going to be kind of a play around to see what we can achieve here. But I'm going to cheat a couple of these pieces, and we'll get it worked out here in just a second what this is going to look like. So I'm going to use the Admiral, which is one of my favorite pieces. I love it because it looks like a Luke. My first favorite piece is this guy here, and this is off of a custom build that I've got. This is from a Rook, and it looks more like a Luke part than it does any other piece, and I freaking love it. I think that it's cool, and I'm trying to make just this top piece as a body component for our sabers. At some point, I'm planning to cut that. But this is the piece that I wanted for this because it has the right size, but the Admiral will work just in a pinch like I want it to. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to look for that body part like this. So there's onesies. We have to drill a hole, right? We're going to have to drill a hole on this. And then we got to get out the thin neck. Thin neck is needed. I don't have a Luke thin neck for this. I wish that I did. I actually have one in design, and I have a really cool Luke, a Luke in design. It's not just a Luke; it doubles as an Obi-Wan and a Luke, and so you can change. It has a threaded body here with the wind vane inside of it, and the outside of it is threaded for 29 millimeters, and the outer bands that go on it are shaped like a Luke. From like, what is it? I have one in here. I don't want to jangle all my parts around, but it's shaped like a Luke, like the one that's currently on the market from Vire Sabers. It's shaped like that. And so it will screw on over top of that. It'll cover the wind vane on the top. So if you look at it from the top down, you won't see wind vane. But if you look at it from the bottom up, you would see wind vane. So the Luke would cover it entirely. And then the Obi-Wan is kind of just a ring that attaches that shows you all the wind vane from the top and the bottom. So you get two you get two classic styles out of one saber body that fits inside of the fits inside of the Corvus Saber Foundry body, or Corvus Saber Foundry, thin neck bodies. So we'll go ahead and add this piece in here and get us kind of close. It looks like, yeah, that's really nice. So this is one of the older Admirals before they changed their size, their thread sizing, and I think that it has a 6 millimeter depth for the thread as opposed to a 7, and so you can see just a little bit of like gap between there, and I'm not exactly sure how to sort that out other than to get a different part for it, but we'll let it ride. We'll play with it as it is and go from there. And I just won't torque it down too tightly. But you can already kind of see the beginnings of what this is going to look like here. We're going to capture the lower portion of that emitter section with a Type 1 female, and we're going to put the Type 1 flange on top of that guy. And so I got to find an adapter really quick, and I want to do a slightly longer adapter on it because the blade depth is kind of dookie, and so we'll go ahead and put an extra length on here. In the future, there's going to be some longer adapters coming, and so these are 2 1/4. My plan is to have a 5 1/2 adapter, as well as longer ones, 7 1/2, 9, or 7 1/2 and 10, or something like that. That will expand the adapter set out past where it's currently at right now. And so you can kind of see right now we're pretty darn close to where we wanted to be for this saber at the moment. And then I don't know where I put it. I had it here. Ah, there it is. This would be how I would handle the switch. That switch section is you could put that on like so. I'm just having to look at it because I can't confirm what it looks like. Put the switch section on there like so, and it might need to be just a little bit, like a smidge longer here, and put the switch right there or something like that. Get it pretty darn close, and then let me put on the bottom end here, and we'll play around with what else we can do here. You know what, we'll just slap another length of this on here. This would probably be okay. This is a Type 4 body, going on here. So we're just gonna make our own switch section. And unfortunately, I don't have the base portion of the Saber to play around with. I don't have those windshield wiper blades for it. But Ron, I think that with your input there, we basically have achieved your vision, or that vision of that Saber. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're pretty dang close. It's not a perfect match, but it's an inspired by, based on Corvus Saber Foundry parts. You can give me a thumbs up whenever you want to. Oh, dude. Like, it's pretty close, man. Like, I know that you don't have a problem drilling holes, so you can do whatever you want to, but I'm pretty sure that we hit that one's pretty much bang on the nose, so I'm happy for that. All right, what's next? We got the lower one, and I'll give this one to Ron again, because this is his, but I'm gonna skip the middle Luke section there. Uh-oh, I got a hang up. One of my threads is hung up. Hey, if you guys don't have them and you don't know what they are, these are soft jaw pliers. These are really, really nice for getting stuck parts. I have this piece that's stuck here. You can just clamp this on that guy like that and loosen it. Comes out just like that. And these jaws, they're replaceable. So if you wear them out or you damage them or you flaff them up somehow, you can swap these out. So these are really lifesavers. This is what I used when I worked on aircraft to tighten on cannon plugs for like electrical equipment. They wouldn't let us use channel locks for whatever reason. I don't understand why. They're basically the same thing. But I'm kidding. They're definitely different parts. But yeah, these dudes are perfect for doing stuff like this. So you get a pair of them. I got these from Harbor Freight. I think the company's name is Doyle. You get a pair of them and you can apply counter torque to it. It's perfect, and they adjust like a gajillion times. I'm not a salesman or an endorser for this company. They work really well for multiple things, especially doing this stuff, and it keeps your fingers from getting tore up really, really bad. So, all right, we did that thing. That was taken care of. We moved that out of the way. Ron's kind of dumb. Uh-oh, I lost my light. Oh crap! I knew I was going to run out of batteries. I forgot to charge them. Sorry, I got really close to the mic there. All right, well, we lost one light. We'll be able to charge the next one. And this one's got like 2 batteries, 2 power bars left in it. So we'll see what that does, and hopefully you guys can see pretty well. Actually, that's doing a pretty good job of diffusing all the rest of the light. Maybe we need to do that. Hey, I need a GoFundMe page. Maybe just sell me my house. I'm sorry for your pocketbook. I will apologize for your pocketbook right up front. Okay, I'm going to try and do this thing that is on the page again. It's the lower lightsaber. This is another one of Ron's concoctions that he wants put together. So I'm going to try and do my best here. I can't guarantee it's going to come out right, but we'll see. I don't have all of the parts. That top part is a really cool one. So I'm looking basically at the emitter end of that saber. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm going to do my best to get to. I'm going to do my best to get to what I can. I'm going to expand that just a little bit. So I'm looking at the lower left area down here. I'm going to do my best to account for that and understand that there's going to be at least one more part that's going to have to come to achieve that, or you're going to have to do some kind of like etching or jiggery pokery to make that work. So I'll leave that to you. Ron's the hacksmith master or hack master. I'm just going to put parts together today and see what you guys see what we come up with here. So the top is a Type 2. The middle is the end is the emitter Type 2, emitter tip Type 2. God, I can't talk. A female Type 2, a choke Type 1. We're going to roll straight into the underneath of it. I'm not a fan of how long that is. I think it's going to be over long, so I'm going to put a smaller piece in between. I actually think that this would probably be served flipping this over, right? Inverting this orientation, so putting the shorter one up top and the longer one on the bottom to meet what that's supposed to look like. And then we'll put on a Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to flip this really quick. Just a little flipperoonie. And I actually think that this is kind of naked on the top end. I don't really care much. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't care for how narrow it is at the top end. It looks like it's balanced towards the back, right? It has like a big, like, it has like a very large shrouding on the back end of it. And so I like having some balance on my sabers a little bit more so, I think. And so what I probably would do is put a shroud or something up on the front to balance the weight between the two ends of the saber. Because visually, like, the rear of it looks bigger. And I like fat bottom girls, but I think in this case it would probably look a little bit better if it didn't have if it didn't have that piece back there. Let me swap one of these parts out really fast. I want to put a slightly different end on this. I only grabbed so many of these adapters out, and I want to make sure that I put the right ones in. I have like two 33s. I got two 30s. I've got a handful of other ones floating around, and I want to make sure that I get the correct ones put in the right order so that they do the thing that they're supposed to do. And so I'm going to throw an Obi-Wan on this guy here. Whoa, sorry for your ears. Rest in peace. So there's the long and short of it, I guess, at this point. And we're going to slap another piece down here. See if I can grab another adapter out of here. Grab another 33 out. That's a little on the long side, I think. But we'll put a 33 up. Oh, you know what? Pardon me. We're going to do that. That's what I want. Make sure I got the right sizes there. Yeah. I might have to swap that for another size. I might go for a type 2 in that space. Right? And then slap that on here. And this is the end of this saber. Pretty quick here, because this is perfect. And I don't have a ring for the back of it. I think that it should have a ring. It kind of would counterbalance this piece here just a little bit. But we're pretty much there, dude. There it is. I found it. Bam. I think this needs a ring, to be honest with you, because it would balance with that a little bit better. So we're going to put a ring on it. I'm going to play around with that really fast. I think this would end cap that really nicely. All right, I like that. Okay, it's kind of hard to see because the light is really not reflecting off of my. Apparently, I got Vanta black gloves and not just black gloves today. Let me turn this up a little bit. One notch. Okay, let's see if I can get that in the screen there. We're pretty close. Let me grab a shroud. Let me put a shroud on here. This is one of my favorite shrouds. This is the Korax. It was one of the first designs that I've ever made. And I think that looks fetch. That looks really good. I'm pretty happy with the way that that's set up. There's no switch on it, so you have to drill your own switch hole or just trade this out because I'm pretty sure it's about the same size as a switch section. So I did do something kind of right. And that's the size of the switch section, so you're only losing just a little bit. So you could put that right there in that middle section in place of that one and get yourself pretty much a full sorted out saber. All right, that's 2 down. What's next? Next song. Okay, what you see there is a Vader inspired. Let's see, not Vader inspired. Is an Obi-Wan inspired Vader. Not even that. This was a what if Vader turned to the light side and he followed Obi-Wan's teachings, right? So at the time that he fought Obi-Wan, he would have had his Anakin saber. I don't think he had a Vader saber yet. And so I was kind of kicking around ideas on what it would look like if he had thought about what his continuance to the dark side would have been, and like how we could mix the two pieces together. So I have the Obi-Wan pieces still here with me. I'm gonna put a switch switch shroud here on a switch body on here, and we'll throw the top part together as well really quick. It'll be pretty fast because I've already got most of them here. Need that. I need a piece there. I need a 33. Where did I put you? It's attached to other things. Okay, I get the 33 out. Seems to have dropped a couple of people. My interest is waning, I guess. I'm not very good at this, keeping people's attention. I wish that the crow noises would censor me every time I swore because I want to swear. It's just my body is trying to trying to get that out. All right, there's kind of a bottom portion of it. It's not perfect. I don't like this on here for a Vader. I think that the Vader needs something that either needs to be reminiscent of that first Saber with the Graflex window veins on it, which would be like reflective of his Vader Saber at the time, or not his Vader, his Anakin Saber at the time, which would be pretty cool. Or we could do one of these numbers and put on. I don't like this Rook very much because it's kind of flat when you compare it to this piece. It actually needs to be a bit bigger. And I have a couple of models for this Saber, or for these pieces, that brings a larger Rook type or a larger like faucet handle type tail for a lightsaber. And I really want to get that produced this year. So I got a lot of things on my plate for what I want to push to get out into the system this year. But anyways, there's that. I think I'm going to take that out of there. I'm going to put the oh my gosh, my brain stopped working. Put the thin neck back on it as was discussed to show this piece off here, and then we'll put the Vader back on the top of it as well to make sure that fits up nicely. And he said he wanted to have something on here. So one of the things to keep in mind on this Vader is that this piece here actually fits almost perfectly against, so you can't really see it very well, but it fits perfectly against something that is 2 1/4 millimeters tall and the next piece. So if you put an adapter between here, it would stand up a little bit more proud, right? So like I could put an adapter in between and you would see that gap show. If I could find one that I wanted to use, damn it. I don't have the 33 with me, but basically a lot of the system standard that I've worked around, right, is built around this idea of this component, which is 16 millimeters. It's 7 millimeters of thread on either end and 2 millimeters of gap in between. And so a lot of these parts will fit almost perfectly in these with one of the other adapters that are included with it. Like if you put another adapter with it, you're going to get that depth that you want. The same goes with some of these with some of my accent bands and caps. They're built around this piece. So if you add an adapter to it, you get that extra headspace to be able to do something with it, either underneath of it or on top of it. And so this actually is scaled. This is a Vader. This Vader one is scaled from an actual Vader, and it just happened to fit that space almost perfectly. So again, really proud of it. But something that needs to be kept in mind is if I'm trying to butt something up against that, I have to build this higher, and I can't really build it higher because I have this male piece here. So I have to be selective about what piece I use. So I'm gonna bump this up one size to the next piece up just to satisfy Ron and what he needed to see off of the Saber. Look, we're already at the hour mark, guys. We've been doing this for a whole stinking hour. Everybody's gonna get tired of my voice by the time I'm done with this. Whoops. And also something that I want to make sure you guys are aware of too is that this MPP, like the Vader, is very tight. The internal diameter on that is just a 1/2 millimeter larger than the outer diameter of this part, and so it's extremely tight. Like there's no wiggle room at all on it. You can barely see any play back and forth. That's like 1/4 millimeter of play. I wasn't even sure if it was going to work, to be honest with you. I basically, again, I wasn't gambling, but I was banking on the idea that there's a high likelihood that this is going to work correctly, and And somehow the luck has paid off for me and it's come out pretty well. So there's that. Put those pieces together. That looks freaking amazing. BT dubs. I'm really excited about that. And this here is, that's a big one. I could put a big one on there. I could put a small one. I'm not quite as fond of that look, just because I'm kind of a Vader purist, to be honest with you. We'll call it a Vader schnob, I suppose. But that's about what you would get. That's about what that would look like if you were to put a shroud on the backside of that. There's not really an attachment point for it, except like right here. It may be one of those maybe one of those where you need to do some drilling or just glue it into place with some E6000. So that could work. I can also take the longer of the two shrouds here and run that, and that covers that completely. So you get kind of an SK vibe out of that if you wanted it. If that was what you were going for, you can kind of get close. Although I think that I probably should just make an SK and call it good. Or you could potentially just take this Vader off of here and do something like this. Let's put this guy back on here really fast. Kind of treat it as a standalone and drop it down a little ways. And drop that on there. So use the shroud as a solo act, and then drop your second shroud on the backside of it. So that could be a thing. Or you could also take, whoops, sorry about that. I didn't mean to throw that. This is a Corax shroud, and there's just enough space on this corner, if you go corner to corner, to cut that across the shroud that way and line it up like this to make that. If you see what I'm getting at. And then you'd have a flat shroud here, and you would connect it at some point on this side, and you would get a rough idea of a SK, if that's what you were looking for. Pretty close. Not too bad. Okay, let's go on. Those were just some of Ron's ones. Let's move into the next thing. I'm actually going to do a Kanan on this one because I've been itching to do a Kanan, and I think that it's pretty dang cool, and it gave me an opportunity to use one of the new parts too. So we're gonna go do that. I have talked about cutting one tip of the Corax off of. I think that somebody should do that. I actually have some ideas for some other shrouds that are half, like 50-50. So like it's a half a Corax or a half, or like a half of a Hastati, among others. So like it's definitely there. And yeah, I know Ambers, you had said that, and I wanted to make sure that I addressed that tonight while we were here, kind of chatting, because I know that you like the Kanan. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw a Kanan together with the parts that I've got here, and we'll see what we can get to. So we'll go forward from this, and let's see here. Yeah, I've talked about that a couple times, Ron, where I really want to cut that Corax or cut one of the other shrouds, and it's definitely a design idea that I have. It's been kicking around. I just haven't gotten to new set shrouds, and the reason why is because honestly, the shrouds haven't been as popular as I had hoped. They haven't moved as well. People are buying them. It's just they're not moving as quickly as I thought that they would, and so it's not really giving me hesitation necessarily, but I'm definitely like reluctant to fire off another round of shrouds until I get a good feel, I guess, for what the next set's going to be. And I think I've gotten better at connecting with people to talk about what that next shroud look should be. I realize that my workspace here is getting just a little bit cluttered, so I'm trying to clear a little bit of this off, so that we can continue working on some of this without too much stuff going on. So I got a lot of the pieces here that I want, that I think are going to be important. I'm going to take this opportunity to take a quick swig of water. Give me a second. This show brought to you by water. Okay, we're going to knock out a Kanan really quick, and this is going to be kind of a Kanan light, which is going to be fun. So the most noticeable and interesting part of the Kanan is the top. I don't have a adapter that looks like the neck for the Kanan, but this is a pretty close analog. This is the cam, the Type 5, as it were. So we'll go ahead and use that to put that together there. And unfortunately, I don't have a shroud for switches yet, which is something that I have plans and an idea that I want to work into in the near future. But I have an idea to put basically what amounts to accent rings or accent bands over top of the switch section to make a beefed up switch area. Alternative to that is just making a beefed up switch. So either one could be relative, but I think that the way that the alloy is going, using the accent band style is going to be the more important part, and the change that I'm coming up with in the next couple of months is going to help cement that into place, hopefully here. So the Kanan has a really long a really long body section, which is kind of hard to duplicate or replicate in alloy right now, because I just don't have the length right for these parts. And so I'm gonna have to throw on. I'm probably gonna have to throw on another component or another end on this side to be able to meet that intent to the best of my ability. And I don't have a pommel end that would work the same way as what you have there, but I could probably get kind of close. So yeah, let's do. I know I don't have something that looks exactly like a Kanan pommel or emitter tip here, but we're going to put together a combo like this. Gotta look at that again. We'll do that. So I've got a Type 1. A Type 1 emitter tip on top of a Type 1 body, on top of a, I think, male Type 1 adapter to fit into the end of this. You can kind of see where this is going. There needs to be an adjustment on here, but I want to put on either this guy here, which I think is comedically large, and that's pretty similar to, what you find in VHC. I'm more interested in something smaller. I kind of like that better. It's a little bit more in line with it, I think. And unfortunately, it doesn't cover the front like I would like to see, but it's not terrible. It's not a bad look. So, kind of have make sure I get that switch in the right position. Okay, kind of like that. That's the top end of it anyway. And then I think I would fill this bottom piece out with something. Let's go with let's grab this guy. That's a 33 or a 31. Yeah, 31, and then we'll do another 31. I'll put this guy on here. This guy on here. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a square-tipped pommel, but I do have a Vire Avatar band, which isn't terrible, right? It would work. I decided to put that in there, but I did put on this extra number Type 2, female Type 2, just get a little bit of extra length. I could make that more seamless, but I like the idea that there's just a little bit of a gap between there. Put on the Avatar band. It's hard to see. Shed some light on this. Whoops, I guess I gotta get it in the camera frame. So there's that. Yeah, I can get that a little bit closer. Okay, it's a long one. It's hard to fit in the frame, but gives you an idea on what it would look like if you were to use that. And then my piece de resistance is to add this guy right here on the front. So it gives that like bulked up look that he has with his, or not bulked up look, but the shroud look that he has with the front there. I think that it's a bulked up area, but it's underneath of the level of the switch. So it's really important to have something above the switch, like over top of the switch, that bulks it up here, and then something that bulks it up down here on the bottom to make it achieve that look. But I think it fits the mold for a Kanan pretty close. There you go. I did my best. I did my best, Mom. Did my best inside of what I had available to me. All right, let me get a quick cleanup here off of this guy and try. So they do have a Ezra. They do have a piece like an Ezra look, right, for some things. Trying to think of what I'm trying to get to here. I've seen some people put together an Ezra off of my stuff, and let's see here. My brain is starting to formulate what this Ezra is going to look like. So I know that there's somebody that makes a motorcycle, a flip switch, that has like a two-piece kind of guy, or a two-function switch. It's like a depression, and you can flip it one way or the other to actuate it, to make it do the thing that they want it, that you want it to do. And so this Ezra is actually kind of a troublesome one, because the tip of it is a weird one. Yeah, good night, Zeus. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you. Yeah, the Ezra is got a lot of different components on it that make it really hard for me to achieve that, because it has like a 4-point pommel. It's got kind of a booster section down at the bottom that's vertical that I don't have, and it also has like some bulked up areas and then a thin neck on it. So it makes it really complicated to make something like this. So let me see if I can come up with something. That looks pretty close to the end of an Ezra there, and we'll go this, and then this, and then this. So I've got a standard switch section. I've got a Type 1 31 millimeter, a Type 1 female extension. I'm going to put on this male thin neck piece, and I'm going to swap this thin neck out for a different one. So give me 1 second. Let me swap this guy out. Oh, thanks, Zeus. I appreciate that, dude. I really appreciate the feedback on that. I'm going to swap this out for a shorter thin neck. So I have this little tiny guy here, which I'm really, really a big fan of. I think that it looks stinking cool. Nobody really buys these, though. They don't like the shorty thin neck. So you can kind of see it's getting close to where we want it to be. I could put on the female thin neck and get that lower look, I think is what it might be asking for. There it is. That's what I wanted. So I can kind of get the lower portion, that lower look on the bottom of the emitter. Not too bad, not too far off. And I think I'm going to put on an accent ring kind of over top of it. Nah, that's not the right one. Let's do the Type 7. We're going to put a Type 7 on, and then we're going to put on a Type 1. We need a ring in the middle. This is going to get expensive if you were trying to build this with this part. It's probably easier not to do it to do this one as a thin neck, because this is going to be costly. And the reason why I say that is this neck section or the emitter section is going to be pretty pricey, and that's primarily because you have your thin neck, you have an adapter, and then you have accent ring, and then a female Type 1, and then another accent ring, and then whatever this tip ends up being here. So we're going to put this and finish off the emitter section with the Type 1. I'm sorry, the Type 0 body here, or Type 0 tip. So that looks kind of Ezra-y, doesn't it? It's pretty close. The only difference here is this is horizontal bands versus vertical bands, or excuse me, versus a grid pattern. I have a feeling that if you found somebody with a laser etch, they could laser etch in that grid pattern and get it a lot closer to what you were looking for out of that. The lower part of the Saber is kind of a tough one to beat. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one, but I could get there. Hey Joseph, welcome. I appreciate you attending and rushing here to get in. It's been a very busy session. Lots of people here, lots of people joining and having fun, and we've been building lightsabers. So we're pretty close to what that Ezra looks like. Unfortunately, this tip here is only about 1 inch. It's not a lot, so it'd be pretty tight. So let me swap something in here really fast. Let me just try an idea that I had kicking around in my head. I got a brand new thing that I just got, and it might fit the bill for this build and do the thing that you're asking it to do, which is this component right here. It's not an exact thin neck. It's a pseudo. I can get this thing in my hand to do what I want it to do. And there, you could get away with a rough thin neck that isn't a thin neck. And if you look at where the button fits, where this would fit at, you'd have almost 2 inches worth of neck space. Almost 2 inches worth of neck space to work with, if you wanted a xenopixel, right? So it's close. I think what I would do is I would probably like to have a slightly longer one in that space, but it's pretty close. It's not bad. I keep dropping it down farther underneath of here, and I get it underneath of the. I get it down here underneath of the image, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so for the lower portion here, oops, sorry about that. For the lower portion here, I would just slap on a Ren, probably about that area there, and get you kind of close. And like I said, this top part really needs a bulk up. It needs something to bulk it up in that space. And then on the end, you could approximate that with a Rook from Vire, or you could approximate it with something like the Avatar band again. I think that there might be another like 4-pot kind of piece floating around, and I don't know exactly which one it would be, but I think you can get kind of close with something like that. I would need to put a booster on. I think I might swap. I think I would probably swap this for a 4 in that space. Now that I look at it, I was going for trying to fill up that full gap, but I'm gonna swap this out for a 4 and then put another piece in between it. I think I see the vision there. So we'll swap this out there and then put this in between. We'll drop a cam in there. I think that looks pretty cool. And throw a type 2 in here. So this would be the size of some sort of adapter, not adapter, excuse me. This would be the size of one of the pieces, like a fluted, like gear or booster section that you see like from an Obi-Wan. And then you could put this smaller guy on here, or you could use a larger one. Doesn't really matter. I think the larger one probably looks better. And then whatever this piece would be. That's pretty close. All right, just give me a second to clean some of this up. We'll drop down into another Saber build here really quick. And I'll get some water because I'm starting to get dry. It's like a sauna, a desert, I guess, out here. Not a sauna. It's not moist at all. A lot of talking, a lot of building. Lots of cool stuff happening here. I realize that I haven't built anything with those new adapters either, and I need to probably do that to show you guys how freaking cool they are. Get some of these adapters broke down here. Some of these pieces chopped up. I do want to make, to be honest with you, I do want to make a Ezra, that black portion of the right underneath of the thin neck for the Ezra. I want to make that as a like extension or like a body segment sort of thing. Oops, sorry about that. And there's so many parts that need to be made, and I am not there yet. So, and yeah, John, you did miss a bunch, dude. We are down to like the last 4 people and the last half hour of this build sesh. And I've only built like 3 or 4 sabers. It's been arduous. My arms are burning right now because of how many lightsabers I've put together at this point. It's just this motion here smokes your forearms. All right, we'll get that apart. Lots of options that we had tonight. Lots of fun sabers that we've built. Get some of these pieces set aside here, and we'll look for the next one. We did a Kanan. We did the other one. I'm going to skip over this one that Ron had. I think I got a lot of those principles that were pretty close. You guys can kind of see them. You know what, Ambers? Yesterday I got the Vader, and I was working with the Vader, and I cut the crap out of my fingers. Pretty much, like my fingers, I woke up this morning and they were sore from all the work that I did last night putting together builds. And so I was like, oh, this sucks so bad. Let's see if I can find another one in here. I did 2 of Amber's off of his, what he wanted to see. I don't know if I'm going to get to the Venzalo tonight. But the gold emitter portion that is, I'm going to expand this really fast. I don't have a highlighter or a pointer, but like if you look at what's underneath of the TFU type emitter shroud, that little gold band that's there, that's a really cool band to make something like to make something for, say, like a band or an adapter or something. That'd be really cool. And also something that you guys don't really know about, but I'm working towards, is if you notice the section that's immediately underneath of that emitter is thin. It's really thin. In fact, it's a lot thinner than the portions that are below it. I do have body components planned that are thinner in outer diameter. So you wouldn't be able to put shrouds on them. You wouldn't be able to do anything with them except nest them underneath of another thing. But like in 31.5 and 30 millimeter outer diameters. I haven't brought those out like in design work yet because they're some of them are kind of sketchy. In that the 30 millimeters is really close to 29 millimeters. And so I don't know if I trust it yet, but I've got a couple of parts out here that have 30 millimeter outer diameters to them that are working fine and people are using them to duel with. And so I haven't had a failure yet, but that's not to say that it couldn't happen. I remember Amber saying that he wanted to talk that they wanted to see the tip of that Ventress shroud there, and so I'm going to try and do my best to make an approximation of that with what I have at my disposal in circular shape. And I was thinking about it while we were working on it earlier, and I think I got an idea on how to get it. So let me put these together really fast. That's a 33. I need a 31. Okay. There's that. There's that. I think you can see where I'm going with this. Okay, pretty close there. I think that this would be an end there, maybe. Oops. Okay. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect fit. I think that we could do something like this. I'm trying to put my eyes on it really fast and make a quick approximation of it to get to it. This is using the new Vader. And I would just honestly drop that down kind of like that to make effectively that Ventress. It's not perfect. It doesn't wrap all the way around. But it's close. It's kind of Ventress look to it. Now I'm losing the light for me. That was the Vader or the MPP top, the MPP tip, with a Type 7 and 2 female extensions with a 31 millimeter in between it. So they can kind of butt up against each other, or you can leave a little gap there if you wanted to. So it's not terrible looking. Pretty fun. Sorry, I'm just looking at what light is playing on this and realizing the ring light is not really that great of a choice for this work because it just illuminates everything in this top circle. It's super annoying. I think what I need to do is get a dedicated light box for this area and just set it up to where it will illuminate from the sides as opposed to from the top, so that you guys can see all of the bits and pieces. And of course, I need to charge my stupid lights so that you guys can see them. But okay, I gave you an idea what that Ventress looked like. I didn't want to do the Venzalo. That's a pretty complicated build there. But I did want to touch on a couple of these. So I saw some artwork that was kicking around in the space the last couple of months, and I save a bunch of pictures all the time. My wife wonders why I have more lightsaber pictures than my kid pictures, but it's because I work, and she's always home to take pictures of the kids. And so on the top, the right-hand side, I think, of your screen, you can see an upside-down Vader. And that's one that I kind of like the idea of that piece right there. So I'm gonna play around with that concept really quick and see if I can make something happen out of that while you guys are on the horn still here. So I'm gonna flip this Vader upside down. I'm gonna put two of these guys together. I should have just left that piece set up like I had it previously. So Vader. Yep, there's that piece, and it looks like there's a thin neck attached to that. Oh, buddy. Oh, there, bud. Easy. Getting too excited. Let's keep it brought back down here. If I can get that separated. There we go. Finally. Oof, that was tough. One benefit to wearing these rubber gloves is you can actually get things apart, which is kind of cool. It's not too bad, I guess. I can get it if I try. All right, here we go. So upside down Vader. Sorry, I had the thing in the way. I had to see to get the thing, to do the thing. So upside down Vader, and we're gonna play with this guy here really quick and just put that on there, just to give it a look. Boop. There we go. Upside down Vader. Damn it. Oh man, I love this part. I love it so much. There you go. Upside down Vader on a thin neck. That's a nice shelf. Nice shelf queen. Okay. Pull that off of there. And then let's see here. Ah, gosh, you know what? I'm so glad that you said something about that. I can't fix my face. It's smiling so much. Oh man. Sometimes I surprise myself doing this stuff, and if it hadn't been that one time, I don't want to say this in like a weird way, but like sometimes you just have to take a jump, like a leap of faith on something and go and like send it. And this was one of those things, like starting the Saber business was that leap of faith to like acknowledge that I had what it takes to do this thing. And the more things that I design, the more times I have to tell myself, you're not an imposter, you're proving yourself every day. And so like, you know, the real message here is like, sometimes you just have to do the damn thing before you realize that you can do the damn thing. And then by the time you get to that point, you know you done got it. So, I don't know, little words of philosophy for me. All right, I want to do this top left one, the one that's gray with the brown on it. I think that it looks freaking cool, and it has a crystal chamber in it that I cannot duplicate, but I'm going to do. I think I got a vision here, like of how to achieve this, and I'm going to do it differently. I like the idea that this guy's putting down. I like that knurling. We haven't. Whoops, sorry. Rest in peace to your ears. Haven't had a chance to play with the knurling yet, so we're going to play with that knurling just a little bit, and we're going to do that, and I'm going to put on a, what do I want in the middle there? Use your switch housing for a crystal chamber. Yeah, you can do that. We'll do that. We'll put the switch housing on with a 33 or a 31, excuse me. Make that catch kind of okay. Yeah, the size is pretty close. It would work. Like, you can make that happen. We want to do a... Man, my eyes are failing me right now. I can't see very well. I want to do a thin neck in between. I don't know why, but I want to do a thin neck. I've done enough thin necks tonight. Let's do this. Let's grab that one. We're gonna do that. I like that one better. All right, got that piece. We're gonna put on another. I don't have the component to do this part, to do this specific one piece that I want to do. But we're gonna do this one instead. Put these two pieces together like that. Do this piece up here on the top. Where'd I put it? Where'd I put it? I can't see it. My eyes are failing me. So it's not quite that, but I was trying to capture like that in-between section, in between the emitter end. I think that I'm pretty close there. And the part that I want to put on there, again, is the fallback to my shrouds. I'm fussing around with it now. It's being annoying. Okay, like that. It's not a full wraparound. It's kind of close, but you could run this up here. Whoops. Bad ears, bad ears, bad ears, bad ears. I think that would fit there. That could fit there. We got pretty close to a vision, I think. And then the lower portion would be a thing like here. I think that I have enough space to do this. And I'll put on that guy. Put on that guy. Oh yeah, Poppy. We there. This actually would probably look better with, and I'm gonna throw this out there, a flippin' Kestis, dude. That did it. Aluminum clinking and slanging ASMR, dude. All right. Yep, you're right. A ring in the middle. You were talking about a ring in the middle of this here. Is that right, Ambers? But this ring was definitely going to happen. Yeah. I think that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. That's pretty close. It's not a perfect approximation. It's just enough to be like, I didn't make your part, or I didn't make your piece the way that you think I made your piece. Just enough to claim ignorance, I guess we'll call it. We're going to actually put one, man, that's a little bit too big. I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab this cam, and I'm going to show you the interaction on this cam, because it's pretty dope. Unfortunately, I don't have another one of these type 7s at hand. It's up here on the top. So we're going to go ahead and put on something like, where did I put it? I lost it. There it is. We're going to put that on there. And then we'll grab a pommel. Shoot, my pommel is stuck over there. Grab this. The pommel would be the perfect fit for this, actually. But that's close enough. Yeah. It's pretty good. Okay. Cleanup time. Let me get this stuff cleaned up here really quick. We'll swap over to another build really fast. And hopefully I can get that done. I can find one of John's builds somewhere. I think I did his earlier. Maybe. I thought I did one of his earlier. Anybody that walks in on you is hearing Corvus After Dark, where the sounds... Well, that failed me. This is Corvus After Dark, and the sounds of sweet, sweet aluminum ASMR for your ears. Oh, that's good. Okay. yeah, that had plenty of opportunity, like options there for the lightsaber. I thought that looked really cool. I might have to start making some of these and posting the pictures or posting them on my site, right? I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I don't think it's going to happen. It's not really technically in the vision to produce something like that. I think. I think that it's more. About the components and what you guys can build. I think that I should on social media for sure as like, hey, gee whiz, look at what the crap you can build. But, I think that that's the important part of it is like, hey, you think that you can't build stuff with this. You think that you can't build awesome sabers with this, but check this crap out. And then there's just one that's up here that's on the page in the middle, which is a KR build, and this guy is pretty notorious for being like super defensive of his sabers and his designs, and rightfully so. The dude's done a lot of work, like done a lot of big stuff for the community. But this build isn't overly complex. In fact, it's pretty well within reach and within reason for anybody to be able to do one of these, with the exception of like one component, I think, that I don't have, which is the shroud. And I don't have shrouds that are shaped just like that one yet, or that are cut like that one yet, other than maybe the other than like the Ren. The Ren is the only ones that have like the pulled up sides. Yeah, Ron, you're completely right, man. I have waffled about this for a really, really long time, and it's about selling it to people in a way that makes it look like it's like easy and accessible. And so I think that most people want something like a kit, or they want something like a invitation and some guidance on how to get there. And so I'm working on an idea for that here in the very near future. It's not far away, I'll tell you that right now. In fact, I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to start seeing something about like January, like maybe early January timeframe. So like, like 4 days, 5 days. I guess, I don't know. I've diverged a little bit here in the conversation to like strategy stuff. I do want to touch on this build here really quick. I've got a lot of parts everywhere. Everything's kind of all over the place, and I got to pull back some of the stuff to get to where I want to build this piece. So I do want to build this flagship. I want to put this together, and I want to show you that like something similar is possible with alloy here. So I'm going to go back to this part again. Nope, that's not the right size. I need the 33. What do I need? I need a 33. That's the one. So this is a little bit bigger. Here, I think that's a 33 as well. Yeah. So we can put together a couple of shapes here. Actually, I think that this would be possible. We can make that work. We did this once before with this piece. So one of the things that I need to work on is an inner rim, like an intermediate area or an intermediate piece here, because I think that there needs to be an adapter with some M4 holes in it, like either like a 4 spot or an 8 spot or something like that you can use in the middle of your build somewhere, in order to get shrouds and stuff in between spaces where you want them. And so I would really like to see a 8-hole M4 threaded adapter built specifically for that, so you could align these and then put 2 shroud holes in, or 2 shroud screws in if you wanted, right? So you could set them basically like, that's a little bit short for that, but you get the idea, where the shroud could span 2 holes and you would be able to put them together to make that happen. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I think the shroud holes or gaps are a little bit short for that to be achievable, at least with that part here. But I can switch over to this guy and probably make it possible. to achieve this. But let's see. We were just talking about this part. I want to do this. I'm going to put that one on here. I'm going to drop one more piece in here. I think needs to be on there. Put this in. And then drop this in here. Okay, now we got something that looks, it's not an exact look to it, it's just a little bit different. And we're going to put in, where did I put him? That guy. That piece right there. And we need that. We need that one there. I've been trying to show off that I can build this Saber for a long time. Because I think that it's like the pinnacle of, I think that this guy's work is the pinnacle of stuff that we do in the community. Like KR's work is just absolutely awesome. I love it. I think it's cool. So there's part of that design. Really, honestly, this should come down here based on that image that we have on the screen, but I'm going to leave it. I'll pull it down. I'll pull it down. I just want to see it. I just want to see it. Okay. Got that. Do you guys want to knock off KR? You guys want to see something? I'm so dumb. Oh, yep. Shucks. I want to use one of these. And we need a sink handle. You are so dumb. Oh, shoot. Dude. Oh. I don't know about you, but that kind of looks like the part, huh? Dude, John, you do know that the original sink knob, the original pommel on a Luke, or actually on Obi-Wan's, was a sink knob, right? Like, you do know that. I hope that you know that. Dudes, what a show tonight. It's 9:45. We've been at this almost 2 hours doing constructions and builds. I've showed you everything that I can throw at this, and then some. And I've only met a couple of things that I wasn't able to. Dude, the actual name of the sink knob is the Armitage sink knob, I think, or something like that. Like it's the company that made it was Armitage. But 100%, it's a thing. You should take a look at it and go read the Wanawanga Bible, I guess is what it's called, if I remember. Yeah, Armitage Shank, that's the one. You got it. He nailed it. Ron got it. That was the one. All right, let me get this over here really quick. Man, this new arm is so nice, dudes. So nice. I'm so jacked about that. It was such a cool one. All right, let me close this out. Let me get swapped over to back to my stupid face, and then we'll talk the rest of the time here. All right, got that. And cancel that. Bloop, 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 bloop. Sorry, I'm closing out some Wendy's here. Yeah, your nerd card's on thin ice, dude. You're really, really cutting it close. I cannot believe you trying to come up in here not knowing what the sink knob pommel is. Get out of here. Oh, shoot, dudes. All right, let me get my monitor set back up. That was that. That was a show. Let me tell you what, guys. Yeah, I think... Oh, wait, you know what? I forgot about this one. John, he actually asked me to put this together. He actually asked me to put this together on the show. So just give me 1 second and let me throw a Vader. Let me throw a Vader on here really fast. And he wanted this build. I don't know if I can do this or not. Oh goodness. Let me see what I got here. One last one. He wanted me to show it off so you guys could see it. Just give me a second here. I'm gonna thread this guy on here. I'm not gonna do the whole connection piece to it, but I'll do this part here. So, John asked me to put this together earlier today as a preface for the show, and we didn't get a chance to do it, but this is a Revan body with a Vader tip on the end of it. I think it looks pretty cool. And there's some custom bits here. I put some leather wrap on it, did a baseball stitch when I was playing around with dueling with my Revan. Well, I think that it's super neat. I think it looks pretty cool, man. My face hurts from grinning, dudes. My face hurts. It has been a day. Okay, let me recap really fast. So there are currently 7 parts that are. Let's see here. There are 7 parts that are sitting on my desk. 4 of them came from production. They're ready to sell. I'm not launching them until January. They're not launching until at least the 1st of January. I'm trying to get it to fall on the 1st. So new year, new you, new Saber, hopefully. And so you guys can start like getting into the new stuff. I do want to not preface that, but like add a rider onto that statement and saying that I am not releasing all of those adapters at one time. I bought all of those adapters to be able to fill the gaps between the end of the year and Lunar New Year, and so it's staged in such a way that it will have 2 that will fall in January plus some extra things that I'm working on, and then 2 that will fall in February plus some extra things, and then in March the MPP will fall, and then by the time we get through that, a couple of other things will fall at that same time, and then the factory will be back up and running by probably mid-March timeframe, which means we'll be able to press on with the continued activities that we were aiming for before. And so I'm going to try and do another small run of like 4 adapters to fill in the gaps in that space with that strategy that I was using before. So I want to build like I want to put together the 33, the 31 and a half, and the 30 at 5 millimeters, so give us a little bit more adapter space, and as well as 7.5 millimeters to give us even further. So we'll start getting into those spaces where you have adapters to fill in spaces in between those male and female parts. And so my goal is to round those pieces out while I'm also working on the next iteration of the Vader pieces, and then an Obi-Wan later in the year, and a couple of other things. And so there's a lot of things that are building up, and we are gaining positive momentum and positive traction. So this entire year couldn't have been possible without you guys, and I have to thank you wholeheartedly for the support, the energy that you give me, the inspiration to put together builds and to do things that I haven't really done in my life, which this thing where I sit down and talk to you guys, I'm not really a great public speaker, and so like doing stuff like this and just being my normal nerd self is really helping me gel in all other areas of my life. It's like expanding on all these different things. And so like I really honestly have you guys to thank. You guys give me the energy, the excitement, the effervescence, if you will, to execute and continue executing all of these things. And so as I continue developing, I implore you to just help me out, put my name out there. If you have an opportunity to do links or like provide, any sort of information to the peoples that are out there that I exist and that I'm producing some really cool parts, please do so. It means the world to me that you guys support me. So we're coming up right here at the end. It's like 5 minutes till the end. Do any of you guys got any questions or anything you want to fire away before I try to start signing off. I think we've exhausted all the options for builds, like build ideas, for the time being, and I think that's kind of where I'm going to leave it off for the night. So if you guys got questions or whatever, throw them out there. I'll sit here for a second and just entertain you guys for a couple more minutes, but I don't have anything else to say. It's the end of the year. Thing has been awesome. We set records. I set personal records this year for parts released. Personal record for parts released, personal record for amount of income, but amount of revenue that we generated to get to this point, to be able to produce this MPP, to do all this other stuff. Like, it's been huge. It's because you guys are putting my name out there. You guys are contributing to the cause and the effort. So it really means a ton. Yeah. I don't see a whole lot of questions. Maybe I just haven't waited long enough. My stream has stopped on my other screen over here. My stream has stopped for YouTube. I can't see it moving still. Well, I'm glad to serve as that inspiration, Ron. I really do appreciate the kind words. Keeping people engaged and interested in something long after the shine has gone away. It's definitely cool to experience. I get to see people like re-energized and reinvigorated by the cool new parts that are coming out, because, honestly, like, I was kind of getting to that point too. I did probably half a dozen or like 24 builds maybe of different things, and like I was starting to get burned out on the parts availability that we had. And so I just was like, we need to do more things, and I want to be that guy. And so I'm really happy that I'm becoming that dude. It's been a really cool ride so far. I just hope that there's more people out there that are interested or see this video, or like stumble upon this and they want to either build lightsabers and they want to get that entry level vibe going, or two, not entry level vibe, but they want to capture that entry level spirit and continue to work on stuff like this, or two, like people that are experienced and that have been doing this for a long time, that think that this is really cool and want to start working more closely with me. I'm really excited about doing something like that. It's been bupkis. Like, nobody has wanted to say or do anything like that. It seems like the Saber community is really like cloistered, and I'm trying to break that wide open. And they don't like newcomers, so it's been really tough, like getting into that group, like finding that in group. Well, I keep segueing into new conversation points, and I don't want to talk much more than that. I think that it's probably a good enough time to wrap this up. So we got 5 minutes. We killed off the cast. I got 4 new parts that have arrived. They're getting ready to launch in the first of the year. I've got 3 more parts that are going to production in the next week with this MPP Shroud. And then I got some extra things that you guys some of you haven't seen. Some of you have been part of it, but some of you haven't seen it. Some of that stuff is coming up in the next couple of weeks as well. And I'm going to implore you to add more to add more, what's the word I'm looking for? More variety to the parts that you build, because I'm looking for those things. I'm going to start looking for those things. This thing that you're going to see happen, it's going to be something new, and it's going to be something for you. So if you're seeing this and you're just getting to me, welcome. You're in for a new ride this year. And if you're new and you've been with me for a while, you probably have heard about this. I'm looking for you to contribute. I'm looking for you to do some stuff. So that's all I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it right there. There's going to be a collection that's going to show up. You'll be there. You'll see it. I promise. All right. It's me. It's Tim. I'm done. It's time to get out of here. Thank you, everybody. This has been the Corvus Cast, the last one of the year, 2025. We're out of here. It's time to go. I'm going to send you out with the crows. I'll see you guys later.